it's time to put that in that. To be honest and to be fair, I expected to be doing this in the last video before I really understood how gunky and horrible the inside of this piece was. So that's all now being cleaned, and it's all been cleaned on the front and it's all put back together. You've seen me do that in the last video. So now the job is to mount this good circuit board into this enclosure so that we can look to get the R8 back, or get one of the R8s back and running. The other one still has a problem with the screen, which is something I need to investigate a little bit further. Not sure whether it's going to be done as this series of videos or something else, but the reality is there is some more work to do on that one, and I need to go read the schematics of the board to try and work out what is generating the problem of the weird characters. So this one, I'm just going to put this back together. A lot of it I suspect is going to be in quick view, as in compressed, so you can see what I'm doing. But reality is, I just need to get this piece done, batteries installed, and ready to rock and roll, so I can do some videos with it. That's the idea. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. So first thing that needs to go back in is the shield, and the shield is over here. So here is the shield, and the screen goes through there with its ferrite choke. It came out, so it must go back. There we go. And then this cable here goes round the screen. Like so. And then the screen is designed to lay over that, and walk down there, and then it comes over like that for the top piece. Hopefully that all makes sense. So as you can see, the stalks are in the right places, and that's the screen, the shield in. Why is there a shield in there? I suspect it is trying to guard the internal electronics of the R8 from interference, which it's something you see on some pieces of equipment, not so on others, but this is just quite interesting why it's on this one. And then this component effectively sits in like so. This is going to be a bit of jiggery pokery and making sure I've got the right wires out of the way. So those wires need to be out of the way, those wires need to be out of the way, and then it's, I remember when I took this out, it wasn't simple. It didn't just slide out. It needed a little bit of persuasion. Although having said that, this looks like it's gone back in actually really simply, which is quite a surprise. Right. So that's that bit done. So there's the shield, there's the back plate in place. Now there are some screws on the back that need to go in, so I'm going to elevate that way. So I'm not quite sure which ones to do first, if I'm brutally honest. So I will just go and look at some source material just to see what the screw sequence was, and then I'll put it back the same way. So I'm going to start with securing the shield, and per my notes there are 4 screws that have to go in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that equates to these 4 screws that are on the bench. So let's get the shield secured down. So that's the shield in place. The next thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my glasses off for this, is just align the board like so. And then there should be 3 screws, which I think are these 3. 6, 7. Sorry, I made a mistake. There's 7 screws. And I have 7 screws here. Now, what you will notice is I'm not screwing these down tight, I'm just screwing them to locate. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is that when I attach the back plate, this may need to move slightly. And because it may need to move slightly, I don't want to that I think is correct. It's a long time since I did this, so I'm just going to stop the video and go back and look at my notes. Just want to make sure I've got that right. Okay, I did get that right. I was right. So that's now correct. And I'm going to start on the back plate, which is this one here. And there's only 3, 1, 2, 3 on here that effectively joins that metal plate securely to this plastic. And I believe that they are these 3 machined screws. 1, 2. And the reason it's doing absolutely nothing is because it needs the back piece on. Because the back piece is the piece. So let me put those back in the box for a second. What I'm now going to do is just connect up so that's the screen that pops into that point there. And then these 2, the longer of the 2 is this one, and you know which way around it goes because there's 2 little bumps on the connector, and there should be it's not really visible, but there should be 2 bevels on this, so it should only insert one way. Like so. Then we come to the delicate ribbon cable, which is this one. You need to just make sure the shield gives it enough purchase so you're not stretching this, and then this just slides very gently into this connector here, like so. There you go. And then while we're here, the batteries that came out of this is that one and that one. This is the newer of the 2, remember correctly. Let's just put it on test. Positive to the top. Cross fingers. Okay, so that's coming up as replaced battery. So that one's dead anyway. That one is dead. That one is also coming up with a very bad reading. So, for the want of 50p, somebody once told me, and I can't remember who, but you shouldn't really handle any of these coin cell batteries. So, let's use a piece of kitchen towel. That's the trick. Battery's now in. And that's the inside reconnected. Next job is to put the case, the lid, the back on. So let's have a look. Let's go and find that and look to get that in place. Okay, so this is the back. Now obviously that's the outside. Nothing wrong with that, it's quite good. But the inside has a couple of bits of surface rust. Now what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do what I did with the internal plates, and the reason why I don't need to do that is because this is really quite light. And the other thing I'm going to do before I put this in is just give this a rub over with IPA to get rid of any of my fingerprints. But the trick I'm going to try and use to get rid of this surface rust is the foil trick. So you basically get some common garden kitchen foil of the aluminium variety, and you rub this over the area where the rust is. And the rust, theoretically, will start to disappear. So just after a few minutes of rubbing, all the surface rust is now gone. Grab hold of my IPA. So, as I said, why rub IPA on it? Two reasons, actually. Number one, it will lift any of any surface dust and grime. It will lift off. Actually, three reasons. Number two is where I've touched the rust with my fingers, and even though my fingers are perfectly dry, you still have oil and residue in your fingers that can, if it got onto the rust spot you've just treated, can make it rust again. Likelihood is pretty zero, to be honest. But the third reason is, it actually, if there's any moisture in that area, the IPA will lift the moisture out. So you end up with a perfectly dry surface. That'd be the theory. So, next thing is to bring this back into camera. Like so. And then I'm going to put this case on here. Now this goes down into a gap between the shield and the back plate and the case, and it fits very snugly. Look at that. And there should be 7 screws for this, and it says 7 screws on this one, so I'm going to assume that they are the 7 screws. Now, some of these screws are not in very good condition, so in order to try and bring these screws up a little bit, this is another trick that I use. WD-40. Put some WD-40 on a paper towel. Take the screw head that's not in very good condition. I don't know whether that is actually coming up on camera. Rub the screw head on paper towel, and it will take off any contaminants, any rust or anything like that that's on the screw head. Just make it look a little bit more presentable. Now, reality is that you're never going to see, unless you turn the thing over, you'll never see these screws. But so 7 screws. Sorry, I realised I hadn't fully tightened all the board screws up. Now we're left with 3 screws that go in the back. 1, 2, 3. These screws again, these are more machine screws rather than the plastic screws. Now I said to myself, before I put this fully back together, just put some contact cleaner in the volume and value sliders. And what did I forget to do? Put contact cleaner in the volume and value sliders. However, there is sufficient room to get the straw down. Into the slider tracks. So I'll do that now. And the final bit is these 2 slider caps. Go on like so, one there and one there. So the big question is, does it turn on? The answer is no, it doesn't turn on. And of course, why doesn't it turn on? Because John forgot to switch the power on. Now let's try it again. And that's exactly what it should say when it comes to life. So there's nothing in this machine. It's completely dumb at the moment. But it is a relatively clean example of a Roland R-8. The next videos you'll see on this particular unit is me using it to some degree. So that has been this R8 restoration. There is still another R8 sitting here in pieces. That's the one that's got more problems with it. So that will be the one that will take a little bit more time. So there will be some more videos on the R8 diagnosing what is wrong with that particular machine. But for this particular machine, this one is working as it should be. Well, it's coming to life as it should be, shall we say. Whether it's working as it should be, that remains to be seen when we actually get it into the studio. But for this lot, I'm going to say live long and prosper, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.